How to stop ruminating after narcissistic abuse.
We've all been there, unable to stop ruminating about a narcissistic ex who left our reality shattered. Endlessly circling the same drain of confusion and pain, desperately grasping for answers. But what if I told you there is a way out of this mental prison? That you can take back your power and reclaim your wings? If rumination about your narcissistic ex has you endlessly trapped, desperately grasping for answers in their distorted reality, know that healing awaits. Stay tuned as we unravel why it's so hard to quit obsessing after abuse and practical ways to take back your power. In this video, you'll discover why narcissists condition you to ruminate, how to escape overanalyzing their manipulation, mindfulness techniques to ground you in the present, steps to disentangle from the illusion and move on. With understanding and practice, you can escape the emotional roller coaster and start living again. When we understand why our minds cling to confusion, we can consciously step forward with greater clarity. The keys to both prison and paradise dwell in how gently we hold ourselves. You can break free from trauma. Reclaiming your light starts now. Recovery awaits. Your liberation starts now. This video is focused on ruminating when you have already decided to go no contact or gotten divorced from the narcissist. If you are still in the early stages of no contact with the narcissist, then I would recommend you watch the other video titled,
When you go no contact, the narcissist does this every day and why?
So you know how to deal with their hoovering attempts when they inevitably come back. The link to the no contact video is in the description below and in the comments, so be sure to check it out if you need support enforcing boundaries in the vulnerable early period of separation. You're not alone. Many of us struggle with unhealthy attachments from these emotional vampires that take over our thoughts, sap our energy, and prevent us from living freely. But it doesn't have to be this way anymore. This channel is not about those narcissistic leeches or our partial selves. It's about our entire self, whole self, complete self. It's about discovering self, fulfilling self, loving self, choosing self, liberating self. It's about growing self, healing self, nurturing self, accepting self, expressing self. It's about honoring self, respecting self, trusting self, understanding self, valuing self. It's about caring for self, being true to self, putting first self, freeing self, becoming self. If you feel there is still something missing in self, then click like and subscribe this channel because it's about bringing a new version of your entire self for yourself. It's about recover thyself and reclaim your wings from the talons of emotional vampires. Now, let's go deep.
Why narcissists condition you to ruminate.
Narcissists manufacture an alternate reality powered by half-truths, omissions, and distortions of facts tailored to suit their agenda. No matter how irrational their version seems, you learned to ruminate endlessly, trying to solve this impossible puzzle and stabilize their chaos. This hypervigilance and overthinking short-circuited your nervous system. See, calculated instability keeps you on their emotional yo-yo string. Making their world make sense became an addiction, ensuring your continual devotion of time and mental energy to their dramas exactly what feeds their ego. But the joke was on you. This hamster wheel was designed without an exit. There was never meant to be resolution, only rumination. At this stage, when survivors visit us for counseling, they say,
I can't stop analyzing every interaction, trying to make their distortions add up logically.
If I just rehash this one more time, I'll finally understand why they lied so much.
I'm addicted to overthinking everything they said. It's like a puzzle I can't give up on.
My mind won't stop racing, trying to reconcile their mixed messages.
I stay up all night writing down every example of their manipulation, but I never feel closure.
I keep having imaginary arguments in my head with them, thinking the right words will finally make it clear.
Ruminating over the injustice of how they treated me has become an obsession.
Part of me enjoys replaying their lies over and over because it makes me feel superior in hindsight.
I exhaust myself mentally thinking of all the ways I could expose their lies.
I desperately search my memories for clues, trying to pinpoint when the deception began.
Why our minds get caught in this trap of ruminating over narcissists.
Unhealed attachment wounds make us vulnerable to manipulation. Abandonment fears predispose us to obsessively people please, hoping to secure love. Beneath anger often lies powerlessness. You desperately want the pathological narcissist to validate your reality and take accountability, but their brain lacks that capacity for empathy. Rumination also arises when trauma shatters our worldview. The illusion that people are generally kind is replaced by fear-based ideas like no one can be trusted. Your mind attacks itself for not spotting exploitation sooner, but berating yourself just creates more painful noise, keeping you stuck. Survivors in sessions disclosed us that they remember obsessively thinking things like,
I keep reviewing my past for early red flags I must have missed.
If I just understood why I was vulnerable to their manipulation, I could forgive myself and move on.
I blame myself for ignoring the warning signs and letting them deceive me.
My mind won't stop cycling through all the ways I enabled their behavior.
I'm stuck analyzing how I could have protected myself better from their exploitation.
I thought everyone was good at heart, so now I can't stop reviewing all the times they proved that false.
I should have been smarter than to fall for their lies and projections.
My desperation to avoid abandonment made me the perfect target for this emotional vampire.
If I had better boundaries and self-esteem, I could have escaped sooner.
Rumination convinces me if I just punish myself enough, I'll be safe from narcissists in the future.
Escaping the funhouse hall of mirrors.
imagine being trapped in a carnival house of mirrors built by a narcissist's projections. No exit in sight, you grasp at distorted reflections trying to map reality. In one room, reformed narc Roxanne makes grand apologies and romantic promises she'll abandon in days, sending you analyzing what changed. Down another hall, righteous Ruthie rages over a tiny mistake, rewriting history to prove she's the injured party. You scramble to stand your ground amidst denied facts. In the mirror maze, their mixed messages become your mental prison. You keep searching for the version of them that actually exists outside of props and projections. Of course, this person dwells only in your longing. The narcissist constructs personas to secure supply, then discards them when bored. Their behavior follows no reason or consistency because they lack whole identity outside image. What feels like truth-seeking actually enables your own brainwashing.
Mental gymnastics with snake oil sand.
Wife described her ex-snake oil bugger as a master of distortion. One moment he'd be making grand apologies and romantic promises, sending me analyzing what changed. The next, he'd be raging over some tiny mistake, rewriting history to play victim. I got lost in his house of mirrors. Like this wife, we search desperately for the real narcissist outside their props and projections. Of course, this fantasy person dwells only in our longing. Their personas shift to secure supply, then get discarded when bored. This so-called truth-seeking enables our own brainwashing. The narcissist's behavior follows no reason or consistency because they lack whole identity outside their false image.
Why we can't stop ruminating over a narcissist even when we desperately want to.
People often wonder why they cannot control ruminative urges, even when they desperately want distance and peace. Some sample thoughts.
I know going in mental circles is pointless, but I can't stop dissecting every interaction searching for answers.
I feel so drained by endlessly thinking about my life with a narcissist. I just want my mind to quiet.
Part of me enjoys reviews all the times I was violated just so I can hate them more. But it doesn't free me.
The reasons rumination persists connect to the hardwired drive to make meaning from suffering. But sometimes we must accept pain may hold no meaning beyond reinforcing presence. In stillness, our path emerges.
How rumination of narcissist robs your life force.
Rumination keeps you energetically bonded to the chaos vortex long after physically exiting the relationship. Obsessing over the crazy-making hijacks attention better spent envisioning your brightest dreams. It is downright depleting, like attempting to fill a bottomless pit of needs. Fixating on the past leaves no resources left for the present. Escaping these mental hamster wheels lets inspiration take root again. Imagine reclaiming brain space occupied by misappropriating Martha's outrageous financial exploits. Suddenly creative sparks ignite. Without the narcissist's drama monopolizing thoughts, you will inhabit your body with fresh perspective, moving through the world fully engaged. Curiosity overtakes criticism.
The dark mansion of rumination rooms.
The obsessive rumination over the narcissist can take on an imagined quality, like being trapped in a dark mansion with different rooms representing thought patterns. The previous section described how rumination drains our life force by keeping us mentally bonded to the narcissist's chaos. Now we'll explore how this trap manifests in persistent thought loops that offer temporary refuge but never freedom. It's as if our mind has constructed elaborate spaces where we can dwell in victimhood, self-blame, or revenge fantasies. But far from providing answers, these rumination rooms only lead further down into darkness. Passing from the theater of past injustices to the court where we prosecute the narcissist, then on to the fortune teller conjuring future's fears, each provides momentary validation of our pain. Yet no insight gleaned sets us free. These mental spaces reinforce self-defeating narratives. But when we open our eyes to the present moment, the mansion dissolves. We regain power by refusing to dwell in its illusions, and instead grounding in what is real, the here and now.
1. The theater room.
The mental movie projector plays your greatest hits reel of violations on repeat. Dramatic background music amplifies injury. You feel entitled to indulge despair, but these tearjerkers only lead deeper into darkness. For while injustice portrayal provides short-term satisfaction, it cannot generate lasting peace.
2. The courtroom.
Here, you build elaborate cases against the narcissist, fantasizing the perfect poetic justice monologues. Perhaps after decades, enabling exploitive Edna schemes, you will finally expose her web of lies. She will crumble in remorse. But true justice aligns not with retaliation, but release. We accept past harms while revoking consent for future chaos. Our life force is then freed to uplift.
3. The fortune teller's den.
In this space, ego plays psychic, envisioning worst-case scenarios to control fear of repeated wounds. Now that needy Nate hoovered you back via love bombing, he will surely devalue and discard you by Halloween. But living in imaginary futures breeds only anxiety, stealing peace. And no speech, however eloquent, transforms an emotional vampire into someone capable of authentic reciprocity.
4. The library of regret.
Here you pore over records of the past, convinced understanding why the illusion shattered will set you free. Round 1, cataloging calloused Chris's incessant boundary violations proves his psychopathy. Round 2, wait, why does unearthing his infractions still not equal relief? Surely if I just dedicate one more sleepless night to documenting deceptions spanning decades, I'll finally be free. But compulsive investigations yield not wisdom, only exhaustion. We excavate only to find we have dug ourselves into a hole, our light blocked by tall piles of offense records surrounding us.
Flipping the script, choosing clarity with mindfulness instead of ruminating over Narcissists.
Have you ever awakened from a vivid dream so compelling that upon opening your eyes, it takes several moments to reorient to where you actually are? Becoming lost in rumination feels similar. We become so immersed in the imaginary past and future, we lose touch with the reality at hand. Mindfulness trains us back into recognizing the present moment as the only reliable touchstone. We practice noticing thoughts as just thoughts, allowing them to pass without preoccupation. Imagine sitting amidst the rubble of the narcissist's distortions and projections while rumination screams condemnations through a megaphone. Suddenly you close your eyes. The mental noise softens as attention lands back in your body, the feeling of feet on the floor, your breath's steady rhythm. Bit by bit, the circus tent loses form. Narratives about the past/future fade. Truth emerges not in more analysis, but quiet acceptance of now.
Cognitive reframing.
Cognitive techniques also loosen rumination by identifying and replacing self-defeating thought patterns. Common themes center on self-blame or the narcissist's faults. For example, obsessive self-judgment sounds like,
"Their rejection proved I'm unlovable,"
or magnifying the narcissist's misdeeds.
Her lies decimated my reality. She stole years of my life.
Balanced reframes nurture self-compassion.
This ending created space for more compatible relationships.
And interdependence, acknowledging human fallibility.
With time, I can rebuild trust, having learned red flags.
Ruminating convinces us solutions, or at least punitive vengeance, await just one more trance. But freedom awakens when we extend the same grace towards ourselves that we would a beloved friend. For in stillness, we are reminded that we cannot unlive our lives. We need only begin where we are, retreating from harsh battlefields into the sanctuary of the present. Please take care, my friends. The keys to both prison and paradise dwell in how gently we hold ourselves. I hope you find them swiftly. Remember what you learned today and make a commitment to self with us here about honoring self, respecting self, trusting self, understanding self, valuing self. It's about caring for self, being true to self, putting first self, freeing self, becoming self to recover thyself. If you feel there is still something missing in self, then click like and subscribe this channel because it's about bringing a new version of your entire self for yourself. I hope you found some support and validation in the shared experiences here and gained insight into recovering from rumination from narcissists. Please comment with your story to help others heal. If you still struggle with no contact, don't hesitate to reach out for coaching. I want to continue this conversation to bring narcissistic abuse out of the shadows. Your financial contributions through donations or patronage make it possible for me to create empowering resources to spread awareness and amplify survivors' stories. Don't forget to subscribe and press thanks if these videos have eased your isolation and pain. Your generosity allows me to be here together so we can help victims rediscover their wings after narcissistic predators clip them for too long. If you believe you need to urgently speak with a counselor to get started on recovering your true self, you can send me a message on WhatsApp, and I will schedule an initial session within 24 hours. I believe in you and your resilience. Together we can heal and thrive again and recover thyself from narcissistic abuse.